Hi, I'm up in the corner. Really quick, I want to show you how I've been doing my procedural like ocean texture in After Effects. In anime, and just animation in general, there can be some really beautiful ocean effects. I'm not an expert by any means, but this is just kind of what I've been able to piece together, I suppose. I'll just get started. First, we need a shape layer, a gradient background. So this will be the actual colors of your water. So go gradient, if you go to the black hand tool, you can actually change it. Be like a bit more of a royal blue, I think. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So we have the gradient, and I'm gonna name this actually water gradient. And then I will add just a solid, and instead of black, I'm gonna make it gray. I'm gonna call this texture. Usually I would do a turbulent displace, but this time we're actually going to do a fractal noise right here. And then I'm basically going to just adjust this until it looks like water to me. So I'll up the contrast. A lot of this is just in the transform and the scaling. So I don't want to spread that out, but I do want to squish this down. I've arrived at kind of a scale that I like, and then I'm going to add a Gaussian blur to this, like this, which kind of does a good job of softening it. And usually I would kind of adjust this, but I won't adjust it too much. And then a true combo is Gaussian blur and levels. What I like to do is I'll use Gaussian blur to soften something, and then I'll use levels to really dial it in. I don't want too many hot spots on this, but if I were to squint my eyes, that kind of looks like water to me. I might even just bring the scale height down a touch more. So this is our texture. Now we're gonna go to this gradient layer that we have and add a displacement map, and then select here the texture, and then the source will be effects and masks. We want to adjust the max vertical displacement. Yeah. And then if you have any tearing along the top, you can just adjust the height of your actual layer. I'm gonna just duplicate this texture. I also want a white solid. We're doing a similar thing here. The white solid I'm gonna call shine, and the texture will be this kind of shine. So I want these to be rather small, and you want them to be pretty bright. And I'm just gonna play with this for a minute. So now I'm gonna call this shine texture. So I'm gonna track map my shine to my shine texture. That will hide the shine texture, and then I'll change this to a Luma Matte. And you might need to invert it or not. And that will kind of determine these little shines. I want them to be hotter than that. Cool, so you'll notice that if I press play, none of this actually moves, which kind of sucks. So this is the reason why we're using a fractal noise and a displacement map effect instead of turbulent displace. The reason for that is the fractal noise effect has a really nice setting here in evolution options to cycle evolution. Now, let me turn off the shine really quick. So what that means is every time this circle, this evolution circle, and you'll see it's progressing the texture, every time this goes around, it'll find a way to loop somehow. That becomes very useful because if we hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, we can set this expression on the evolution to be time times, I think 100 is what I like. So time is essentially, I think, the frame. So every frame times value, it goes like, could zoom in a touch more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then times 100 will make it 100, 200, 300. So we're telling this circle to continue to spin, and then at the end of each revolution, it will cycle again. And then this number here, this 100, could be 200. It's actually the speed at which your water is looping. So I'm gonna bring it back down to 100. It's a calm day. So we will do that for the texture. I'm gonna do this on the shine texture as well. I should have done that before. So evolution options, cycle evolution, go into the expression and paste that in. Have the shine be visible. That looks kind of nice. I think I'm gonna tweak this a little, see if I can get it to a place that I like a little bit better. Okay, I think this is at a place that I like. And then the last bit of sauce you can put on this is if you go into the shine texture and add a glow, it'll give these a nice pop. Here's your looping ocean water texture. Next, I'm going to show you some details about how this can break. So I'm going to select all of these and add them to a pre-comp, and I'm going to call this ocean. And then this would be kind of your background element, right? I like to work with 3D layers. Let's pretend it's not comped and you didn't comp it. So if I make these 3D layers, this displacement effect is like based on screen space. See how the texture is staying put, like this dark spot? Even if you angle this, you know, your texture is not gonna change, which is really sad. So that's why you want to work with this inside of a comp and just kind of use it as a flat card. It's best to build this as a 2D layer and then use that in 3D. You know, I was just thinking that if you had some kind of a sky, like nice, pretty cloud image to put behind your ocean, could you not also make this kind of a reflection? Could you not also use a displacement map of that same texture to affect this as well? So inside of this ocean comp, I wasn't able to get it to work because this ocean is adjusted in 3D. So I have to basically put this sky reflection inside of this comp, which kind of is too bad. So I have this sky comp that basically just holds my sky background that's flipped. And then I have it in here where it's being affected by the displacement map of the texture here. So it has the same displacement as the water gradient. And then I'm using this sky mask, which if we look at that is just a black and white shape layer gradient that the sky comp is track matte luminance track matting from. So basically it's using that gradient to you know, cut its to fade it off. And then I have this composition locked side by side, went into here and just kind of moved this to where I wanted it to be. And then also out in here, I think I used the ocean to scale it in a way that so that it lines up here and here. And then the only other detail is that my sky image comp has an overlay blending mode. You totally could get away with just normal blending mode. That's the final effect, this infinitely looping water shader, or however you want to call it. So that's kind of the epilogue there. So thanks for watching, and bye.